Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Star Citizen Review.
Yes, sir. You're not gonna hate me. Yes.
Thank you for everybody showing up here live tonight, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we start our little shindig. And thank you for the 2 people that found me on YouTube that fought through the shadow ban, because obviously I'm not showing up there anymore. Let's check this out. I'm very happy about the focus we're seeing this episode on server meshing. It's exactly what I need right now. Let's talk about the most important thing in the development of Star Citizen. And this better not be a fluff show. I got the stash. I'm gonna break it down. If they give us fluff with no technicals, with no details, with no kind of like how they're feeling about the work, I want to see the people involved. I want to hear where we're at. I want to hear the obstacles. I want to hear the likely time frames. I want to hear all of this tonight. I'm happy. Number one, we're focusing on server meshing. Let's check it out and let's see how this episode goes, shall we?
So it's been a while since we had you in here. What's happened since then? Hi, Steve.
That guy looks really. What is going? This is like the most miserable guy at Cloud Imperium I've ever seen. What the hell?
What's happened since then? Hi, Steve.
Is this John Cruz's long lost older brother? I feel like. Who is this guy?
Well, we all went back home and we didn't do anything for about a year and a half, and then suddenly we made server meshing happen. No.
We've been busy. Busy taking all of the feedback and all of the data that we gathered during the last series of tech preview tests.
We've really been developing the technology and making sure it covers all the use cases that the system requires.
And rolling that forward into new and exciting stuff.
What new and exciting stuff?
Thank you, Jared. Jesus, really? We better raise that bar, gentlemen. We better raise the bar quickly. Quickly.
Ok, jump point detected! Jump point detected! Incroyable! C'est donc. Oh.
We saw this, yeah. We've been showing a lot of footage of the jump.
We are pushing player counts higher and higher as the weeks go by.
Why did we do this with real players? Why don't you guys just script something or use bots? It never matches the actual real-time environment that players can actually represent. Putting real players in the build is the only way to really see the true depth of the troubles that we're in.
We'll always start out with kind of a safe test at 100 players.
But we verify here that we haven't introduced new crashes that would detriment the experience, and that the performance is on par with what we would expect for a single server with 100 players.
By the way, we saw this from Hybrid Audio, who's a friend of the channel. Awesome dude. They need to hire him for a lot of the audio, actually. We saw this jump last week, and we were, like, floored by this. This was fantastic. I got to say, there is no experience in a sci-fi game like this when you're jumping. It is phenomenal.
We let that run in soap for like 30 minutes to an hour. And then once we've confirmed that that's actually functional, then we go to higher numbers.
Initially, when we were pushing up to 500 players, that was putting a lot of burden on a number of systems. It's one of the reasons why we needed to replace our message queue.
Where now we needed more parallelism into how we shuffled messages across the hybrid, because the amount of data that it has to shuffle is a lot higher than we expected.
From what I understand, same mesh, so 250, 4 servers. Right now we're at 231 players. Making our jump to Pyro system.
So we decided to take a couple of months out and completely rewrite it. We came back then with what you've heard us referring to as the replication message queue, or RMQ. So RMQ is a product of the UK networking team, so that's Clive Johnson, Dave Kaplan, Jordan Wood, Nathan Matthias, Santi Ortiz. Those guys, I mean, they really put their heads down, and I think they really delivered on something that is going to scale to the future.
The intention of RMQ was to provide us with a more stable foundation. And going into the first test, because it being new code and it being written like specially for large volumes of messages, we expected it to perform better than NMQ. It didn't.
RMQ is performing actually pretty good. The actual element that we identified back at the beginning of the year when we did our first server meshing test were actually solved, and we're now running at very fast speeds. But it revealed another layer of the onion.
A lot of ships over here, so yeah, probably not working, which is too bad. And I have no idea what's going on. Oh, the FPS. Come on, come back to me. Load.
We were disappointed that we were still seeing interaction delay. We were still seeing high latency. On the back end, we were seeing high levels of packet loss.
You are clear to launch.
Oh no, it's gonna lock me in. I might have to grab a smaller ship or something. Why am I locked in here? So this hangar might be busted. I just saw somebody else take off, so not all hangars are busted. That's not good.
Interaction delay is caused by messages taking a long time to go through the hybrid. So when you press F to open a door or exit a ship, a message is sent from your client to the hybrid, then processes the message, and then sends it to a game server and back to your client. So this loop, when it's too slow and takes time, will manifest itself as an interaction delay. Now, what causes interaction delay from the hybrid's perspective is when we basically have a traffic jam on one thread. So the application is using multiple CPUs, but at some point in our code, the way we're processing it, we will be all jammed on one. That will create a traffic jam, which will cause the messages to take a long time to do that loop, and that immediately creates interaction delay.
When analyzing issues with interaction delay, we saw that everything that was going wrong was kind of focused in on where all of the code that runs NMQ was. So when we went to try and optimize that, we discovered that we're kind of in this dead end. We can't really figure out how to, with the structure of NMQ, improve it. So with RMQ, we kind of addressed those problems kind of at their root and really thought about how we can not end up in this dead end again.
That is the jump point. So we are going to, oh, well, that is not the jump point. That is where we're going. Within that amazing visual, there is a delightful jump point for us to go through, hopefully. I'm not entirely sure if it's working. I know people were telling me, because it's in Evocati, which is a very early build of 4.0, sometimes it's not working, but we'll find out together.
What we expected from that is that we would be able to achieve a much higher throughput, which it does. It can achieve that. But by optimizing that, we see what was behind NMQ that was also causing issues, that wasn't getting the opportunity to really like stretch its legs to the point where it was able to become an issue.
NMQ was at a dead end, right? There wasn't so much we could do there, just to the nature of how that had been written. The game we were building at the time when that was written, radically different.
It couldn't grow, it couldn't evolve.
Exactly. It was limited in its nature.
Our game is massively complicated. We produce so much data from everything, not just players, NPCs, from ships, from doors, from to elevators, to just everything kind of going on that the NMQ at least, and then the RMQ just like no.
So RMQ's focus was, yes, to immediately try and solve some of the issues we had seen, but also to provide us some room to grow. And right away, we noticed a distinct lack of parallelization when we update dirty messages.
So a dirty variable is a piece of information or a variable attached to an object that hasn't been communicated to all other members of the mesh.
The sync dirty stuff is just absolutely, it's taking up most of the frame. So where we were originally seeing, let's say like we have this amount of space, right? We were seeing like NMQ take up this much, and then like the rest of the network update taking this much. But now we're seeing sync dirty take this much, and the rest of the network updates take this much, and then RMQ just this tiny little sliver now. So we've addressed RMQ, but oh wow, that underneath all of this there was this other problem that never really got the chance to generate that load.
Oh, it's just closed. Huh. Oh no. Okay, lining up. Oh my god. Entry requirements met. Oh my word, this is happening. Tuning complete. Oh, the music is actually giving me shivers down my spine.
So we fix this by parallelizing the work or optimizing the work that's happening in that thread so that it goes faster. And so there's multiple approaches to this, but the number one thing that we've been doing in the first series of tests have really been optimizing and parallelizing the work for synchronizing dirty variables.
Parallelizing this allows us to add more lanes. It's just like going from a single lane road onto a highway. We can just handle much more at the same time.
So the server needs to send out any change that happens to the game, you move, you shoot, and send it to every other client that can also see that entity. What happens is that then needs to go through every single client and go, oh, can you see this, can you see this, can you see this, can you see this? And then synchronize dirty state. That then is what produces the message that updates you. What's a really, really easy optimization to make there, especially at higher player counts, is we can just go, oh, every single client we can do at the same time. They're not modifying any data, they're just reading it, because that's what sending it out is. You're just reading the data. And reading the data means just reading the data, not modifying it, means that we can run all of that information at the same time. So with not too much work, we can get a really, really big optimization.
Oh, okay. Opening jump point. Guys, what the heck, man? This is next level. Entering jump tunnel.
So he's talking about report requests is what I believe he's talking about in the message queue, and MMQ versus RMQ, and that they needed to kind of open up the bandwidth because all the information that was happening, and they were having a problem with MMQ, which is interesting to me. So I'm gonna have to literally watch this about 3 or 4 times. So I'm getting the basics right now. But this is a technical, in-depth kind of episode that I really wanted to see from them, that I've been asking for a very long time. To me, it sounds like the work is progressing to a point that's in a more positive state. That's nice to hear. It doesn't seem like it's something they can't handle by their demeanor, which is nice to see from the devs. I still hold faithful to Benoit being able to get this done. I remember when they put this on Benoit's shoulders, and I said, good. I said, I believe Benoit is the dude that's going to see this through. I'm happy to see. I believe to this point that I'm seeing right now that they made a correct move in choosing Benoit. The devs under Benoit seem to have their shit together. To me, it sounds like, from what I understand, which is probably about 60% of what they're saying right now, it seems to me as if these guys are making progress. A lot of the work being done with the amounts of player testing, super positive. They're pushing the limits. But the interesting thing to me right here is talking about MMQ and RMQ, and also the sheer amounts of information and opening up the bandwidth or coding it in such a fashion where the information can be relayed in a faster manner. That's why they were talking about, opening up, a one-lane road into multiple lanes.
After that first wave of parallelization, we've seen some immediate benefits.
It's feeling really good. Server's feeling good. Knock on wood, no server errors so far, no crashes, stuff like that. So I appreciate that greatly.
We started to see reductions in those key metrics for interaction.
This is good news. I heard that too. Aether's letting us know they want to push 4.0 to wave 1 tomorrow, which is fantastic. I think what we're going to see, Aether, is a switch in the attitude of the content creators to a more positive outlook coming up. I think going into the end of the year and into Q1, I think you're going to see a much more positive kind of content creator out there, which is nice, because it's just been, the content creators have been just like ragging on Star Citizen so hard lately. So I do think you'll see like a momentum shift in the content from the Star Citizen creation community.
Action delay and game responsiveness and packet loss.
That was quite a dramatic exit, I have to say. I got very lucky I didn't just get slammed into one of these asteroids.
Can you hear me? Jump if you can hear me.
And this is a big deal, by the way. You know, where we're at right now, being able to jump, to go through a wormhole and pop out the other side is a huge deal. Players, Star Citizens, have been waiting for this for a very, very, very long time. This is a monumental moment in the history of Star Citizen.
I'll jump again if you can hear me. Oh, nice. You can hear me. Let's go.
Things were showing signs of improvement. So you'll see we pushed the player count up again. This was our first test going past 1,000 players. And pretty rapidly we ran into the next bottleneck, which was the binds. And a bind, in very simple terms, is effectively the connection between your client and your view of the game world to the server's view of the game world. So if I see a coffee cup on the table in front of me, it's because my client running on my computer has bound over the network to the server's view and knowledge of the existence of that entity.
All right, so here we go with more FPS drops. Huzzah. It's primarily the medical area. It's terrible. Ooh, what is this? Open. Ooh, fuses. Down with your colony.
In our game, we have a lot of entities. Last time I checked, Stanton was at well over 1 million in an average kind of game.
Oh my God, man. Wow.
Game session, and numbers just get bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Also, and the more players come in, that number will increase as well. The amount of data, overwhelming.
And said there were 1 million entities. That's like starter numbers, right?
So, so that was just with Stanton. So Stanton, initially when we seed Stanton, so seeding is like just us putting all the initial state there. That is about 720,000 entities.
I am at area 18. So now we're gonna have another experience. Oh my God.
AI definitely feels a lot more variety. That's good. Looking good. Relax, pal. Just walk right through me. Jeez.
After a little bit of soak time, so say a week, we see that very, very quickly grow to around 3 million entities per shard. So yeah, things grow pretty quickly, and like from there, we see things kind of continue to grow. That's kind of why we need like this big focus on like cleaning up entities and stuff like that. It doesn't just help the game; it also helps the network with the replication and the interaction delay.
So in order to optimize the binds, what we need to do is properly assess what part of a big bind can be done in parallel with another so that they don't interact with each other. That allows us to go wide, use more lanes to go faster.
The motorway is completely clear. We just can't get the things up the on-ramp fast enough. So what we're trying to do is basically...
It's a giant bottleneck at the on-ramp. When they get it there, it's fine. It's the giant bottleneck at the on-ramp.
Add more on-ramps.
Yeah.
So with binds, what that means is we might have the same number of entities that we need to actually get that you want to see updated.
It's Jersey.
But what we can try and do is try and do that faster. So with parallelization, with some clever optimizations, among other things, hopefully. Progress is looking positive. So we've been working on a lot of the more like tedious little details, which has been like kind of like figuring out how we get information into our message queue in the most optimal way possible. But that's also setting us up for being able to then be very clever about how we parallelize the binds.
There we go. I just click on the left click on the mouse, so I open the tunnel. Here we go. We are opening it. All right. Entering jump tunnel. Here we go. So smooth. Okay.
I am really excited to see this progress further. Already the jump gates feel really smooth and reliable to make use of. This is going to make a very exciting addition to the game when it comes to live, and opens up so many possibilities for the future. Everyone at CIG is doing an incredible job of bringing this to reality. Amazing work all round.
All right, so now that I kind of let the FPS kind of catch up with me here, and I'm kind of trying to let all the shaders load, so that's probably hopefully a lot of what you're seeing with lag, and it's not just optimization issues, but it's starting to feel better now that I'm kind of just standing here for a moment.
We really think that unlocking that will allow us to go to at least 10x performance on the versus the current game experience on live, which is at 100 players. But this will also allow us to uncover more layers of the onion that we can optimize to go at even higher numbers on one single hybrid, which will allow us to go bigger, just like we did with RMQ from NMQ, just like we did with the 30 variables optimizations. Binds will allow us to go further, but it's not the end of the tunnel. We still have more work to do to get even more player counts on one hybrid.
All right, we're gonna see what's inside here. Oh my god. This is so crazy. Oh, too much light.
Un joueur! Un joueur! Incroyable! Bonjour! Bonjour, monsieur!
The visuals are crazy.
We want to push further, and the message from Chris is go as big as we can, as quickly as we can. We want to do that in a way that delivers a better feeling, more responsive game. We're not just going to jump to big numbers just because we can. There's nothing stopping us going and putting a couple more zeros at the end of the player cap, but that's not going to lead to a good experience until we continue to address the bottlenecks that we know we have, and more that we'll discover as we go forward.
We have a lot that we can improve on, and a lot of that looks very, very intimidating, but I'm excited would probably be the emotion to kind of use for it, because we've spent so long trying to figure out how we can do server meshing that we've not really had a chance to kind of slow down and look. And now we're kind of in that phase where we can kind of look at where things that have existed for the past 10 years can be improved. And being able to then tear out huge systems and replace them with NMQ and RMQ, and really try and make the best thing that we possibly can is really exciting.
Which is very difficult, by the way, and probably the reason why this is taking so long is the architecture they had based this upon is old, and they're telling you they literally had to rip MMQ and replace it with an RMQ function. So, I mean, this is not easy shit to do, and that's a big challenge in itself. That's like trying to your car, your alternator's gone out while your car's going 70 miles per hour, and you got to change it while the car is going 70 miles per hour, and crawl on your car and replace it as it's driving. That's not an easy thing to do.
So what did we learn this week? That the progress of moving server meshing forward is only made possible with the help of testers like you. That each new win like RMQ peels back another layer of the performance onion to be addressed next, like binds, which since the time these interviews were recorded have made tremendous progress and are already revealing the next layers underneath. And that this work doesn't stop with the upcoming Alpha 4.0, because as the game grows to the sights set in Star Citizen 1.0 and beyond, so too must the efforts to continuously optimize. And I want to give a special thank.
You know what I think that they should do? I think every week they need to update us, or every other week, or maybe even just once a month. I'm being a little bit fucking needy here. Maybe just once a month, update us on server meshing work. Maybe in a Star Citizen Live. I think that's important for the techies, for the ones that understand what the fuck's going on, the coding. Just maybe once a week have an update on server meshing, and actually have the cameras in the dev space and them talking about what the fuck's going on and the problems that they're facing this month. Here's the problems we're facing, because we know server meshing is the most important tech that there is. And I have to say that because we know it, and everybody who's reporting on this knows it, we definitely should have a focus on this. This is the most important tech involved with this project. This is going to make or break the game. So I think once a month we have an update where Cloud Imperium employees are having frank discussions about where they're at with server meshing. Where are you at? What's the problem this month? Okay, here's a December server meshing report. Have a 10 to 15 minute video. Make it its own thing. You remember when they had bug smashers? Maybe they can do that with server meshing. We all know this is it. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the most important tech for this game becoming a reality. There should be a focus. I'm happy that we focused on this tonight. It's still not in depth enough for me. I'm going to watch this another 2 or 3 times, just to get the vibe, just to basically read up on RMQ. I need to read up on it. I need more details. I need to kind of figure out exactly how likely server meshing. I'm reading something right now on Reddit saying that MMQ, RMQ isn't necessarily server meshing related, but to me it seems like it is. To me it seems like, but of course it's on Reddit. And I need to like seriously dive in and get the information here. So I get that it might be a bit of a distraction. I understand. I don't think it would be that much of a inconvenience for them, even once a quarter. You know what I'm saying, Aether? Once a quarter, if once a month is too much, just like once every quarter. It seems like we're seeing the progress. That's good. We're seeing a lot more people looking at the game differently now that they're able to jump, which is great. Go into another system, it's huge positives, more things to do. Awesome. I do think that the attitude's going to switch and you're going to see a lot more positivity in terms of content creators and how they're looking or viewing the game or perceiving the game. So all in all, I think we're heading in a good direction. I've always said, to me, one of the biggest problems, it's a double-edged sword. The more transparent they are, the more transparent I want them to be. They are the most transparent developer ever in gaming history because of the funding model, because it's coming from fans. They understand the symbiosis between the developer and the gamer. So few developers understand that. Kudos for them for getting that. But it's like the more that they open up the box, the more we want to see like all of everything, like it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like the more transparent they are, the more transparent I want them to be. It's a conundrum.
Thanks to Star Citizens Adder Moth, Citizen Kate, and Will, Dominguez, Evenlease, Hybrid V, Le Regular, tried, Morphologist, Ollie43, Speedfragger, and Torada, as well as everyone else who's been documenting this process from the other side of the table. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you. And as next week is IAE, instead of ISC, there's going to be something a little bit different coming your way next Friday. We'll see you there.
Okay. I'm interested. Yeah, I don't ever get any love, Retro, man. I'm the black sheep of Star Citizen. I've been shunned and kicked to the corner of the road. That's okay. I'm a fan. I don't even worry about the fact that they don't give me recognition. It's cool. Whatevs. I've only been covering this since the very beginning, but that's fine. I'm doing nothing valuable. I'm just a big meathead, right, Retro? All right, thanks to the 2 people watching on YouTube. Make sure to like, so we have at least 2 likes on this video on YouTube. And to everybody at Twitch Live, thank you for showing up tonight. We got more show on the way for Star Citizen After Dark.